What's up, everybody? It's Anthony from AB Fitness Center here today with a jam-packed episode. I just want to remind you to make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our content. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about the 6 real ways to speed up fat loss. And again, we all want to be lean yesterday. That's the key. You know, right now, I'm recording this. It's summertime right now, and it's that time. The shirts are coming off. The bathing suits are going on. So we want to make sure, how can we speed this up, right? So there are a couple of ways to speed this up. Now, one of the things that I like to preach with our training place and just our philosophy in general is we don't really like to rush the process. Typically, people who look for a quick fix are not a good candidate for our program. And that's not to say that what I'm about to talk about right now are quick fixes, but there are some things, and these 6 ways in particular, on how you can actually speed things up. So, as you can see behind me, I have good old Arnold Schwarzenegger there. It's my poster. This is my personal gym, and that kind of motivates me every day. But Arnold Schwarzenegger had a great saying, and I love this one because I think it's so true. He said that everybody's a bodybuilder. And, some of you listening to this be like, I'm not a bodybuilder. What is he talking about? Well, everybody's a bodybuilder in the sense that they want to change the way they look. And I couldn't agree with that more. Everybody if you want to change the way you look, you're considered a bodybuilder because you're trying to sculpt your body in a different way. So this is just kind of a reminder to me on, to always look to better yourself and always look to change and never be satisfied with what you see in the mirror. But so if we're, again, going back to our topic, the 6 real ways to speed up weight loss, okay? So number 1, and I talk about this all the time, be consistent. Consistency is the thing that's going to take you to the next level, regardless of whatever program that you may be following. So let's just, for argument's sake, say that you're doing, a keto diet right now, and that diet is you're able to maintain it for a long time. That's going to be key, and that's what's going to give you results over anything else. It's the people that spend time trying this diet, stopping, trying this diet, stopping. That's what's going to not get you results and allow you to keep spinning your wheels. You have to find kind of what you like, and you have to be consistent with it. So at AB Fitness Center, we practice and approach dieting with the flexible dieting mindset, which basically means that you have to be flexible in what you eat. So for example, if you want a cookie, you can have a cookie. And I believe that doing that method is going to keep you more sustainable and more consistent long term. So for me, I've been doing this a very, very long time, and I've been dieting for 15 years now, but I've been able to maintain this through flexible dieting. So for example, this weekend, we had a barbecue. I made pizzas on the barbecue, which are phenomenal. I should actually make a video on that. I'm becoming pretty good at that. But so let's say, for example, I wanted to have pizza. So I would make the pizza, and I would make sure that I kind of fit that pizza into my calorie budget for the day. But doing that allows me to, 1, be consistent, okay? And 2, it allows me to be flexible and live my life. So I can, be present with family and friends at barbecues and not have to worry about it. So for example, if you're at a barbecue this weekend and you want a hot dog, that's fine as long as you can fit it into your macronutrient budget. But the main overarching theme here for speeding up your weight loss is to be consistent with it all. Because again, if you do something for 3 days, there's 7 days in a week. If you do something for 3 days and then stop and do whatever the rest of the week, that's not being consistent. The main thing with being consistent is doing it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Repeat. That's being consistent and doing that over and over and over. So that's going to help you to burn more belly fat and to speed up that weight loss process. All right, so tip number 2, the real way to speed up fat loss is to get more sleep. And I know this one kind of sounds like, that's like a BS one. But I poo-pooed this one for such a long time because I'm not a big, I'm going to give it away here. I'm not a big, I've talked openly about how I don't need a lot of this, but I'll just give it away anyway. Get more sleep. Now in the past, I've talked about like sleep and like, just do it, get what you need, minimum to get by. But there's a lot of studies out there that have shown time and time and again that sleep is very, very important for 1, the human body, and 2, for burning fat loss. So typically when we don't get enough sleep, you end up being a little more irritable the next day, you end up being more hungrier, and it's actually more underrated as how important sleep is for this whole process. For example, When you lose sleep, your inhibitions to cheat are much higher the next day. There's so many studies that have shown this. Certain hormones that are regulated and important for burning fat, cortisol, leptin, ghrelin, those are the hormones that keep you satisfied. And when you don't sleep enough, those hormones are gonna spike and go through the roof, and you're gonna be hungrier, your stress levels are gonna go up. So it just leads to a cascade of things that you don't want to happen. So sleep is very, very important for speeding up your weight loss. I forget the numbers off my head, but there's a study that I actually read recently that talked about, on average, I think the person who slept, I think it was 8 hours versus 5, ended up burning about 3 pounds more, 4 pounds more of pure body fat just from the extra sleep. So, and the calories were the same and everything like that. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of the study off my head right now, but that's typically my takeaway from that one. So it just goes to show you that sleep is very, very important. Again, I used to not be a big advocate into sleep. I was like, I kind of like, But you need to sleep as much as your body needs. And if you could do a little bit more, that's always good. For me, I always found that 5 hours was a good, comfortable spot, but I'm noticing that if I sleep a little bit more, I have better workouts. I do find that I have better control when it comes to avoiding foods that I shouldn't be eating and things like that, and going over my calories. Number 3, the third real way to speed up weight loss is to get more aggressive with your diet. A lot of people are afraid to cut calories and actually to feel hungry. They think that it's not okay to feel hungry on a meal plan and trying to lose body fat. You should feel hungry. Hunger is not a bad thing. People get afraid of hunger. They feel like they should never be hungry. But the simple fact of the matter is that, and I've talked about this in other videos, when you're hungry, it's your body telling you something. Your body's knocking on the door and it's saying, hey, if you don't give me something right now, I'm gonna start tapping into our stored body fat. Stored calories, because that's what body fat is. Body fat is stored calories. So your body kind of knocks and kind of says, hey, Anthony, I'm going to start taking from the storage if you don't give me anything. So it's okay to be a little bit hungry. But you can get aggressive with your diet. And again, doing this smart and having a good nutrition coach at your side, and that's kind of what we do at AB Fitness Center, is we're kind of like, we like to hold your hand through this whole process and make these adjustments so you don't got to think about it. A lot of people make these aggressive cuts with their diet too quickly, and that leads to a stalled out metabolism. But it's okay to do it during spurts. And I like to think of dieting as almost like, and getting to where you want to get to, as kind of like a race, right? In a marathon. And the story between, the tortoise and the hare, there's always, the tortoise always wins, slow and steady always wins the race. But there are certain times in your journey where you actually want to pick up the pace a little bit. So there's times on the marathon that you actually have to become the tortoise, the hare, and you have to kind of go a little quickly. So let's say, for argument's sake, I've been dieting I've been trying to lose some body fat for 8 weeks, and now I have another 4 weeks until my goal, right? I'm going on this vacation, I'm going on this, I'm doing this, or whatever it is, and I want to pick it up for the next 4 weeks, right? So what do? So I would aggressively make some cuts in my diet to make the diet a little bit harder. It's going to be a little bit harder to deal with, because it's going to be a little bit less food, a little less calories. But it's okay to do that. Again, I do that for 4 weeks. I get to where I want to get to. Hopefully, I've dropped the body fat that I've wanted to get to during that time, and then I'm off to go. I'm off on my races, and I stop being in that hare mode and I switch back to the tortoise mode. So it's okay to get aggressive with your diet. In certain points, you're going to have to do that. So you're going to have to make those cuts in the nutrition plan in order to burn more body fat, right? And again, that point is different for everybody. And this is why having a good nutrition coach at your side will be there to tell you when to do that, when to not do that. And, again, I've always advised my clients, everybody wants to be lean yesterday. So everybody thinks they're in a rush to get there. So sometimes I have to tell people like, hey, slow down, we need to just stay consistent and build good habits before we get aggressive with the diet. Okay? The fourth tip to burn more body fat, to speed this up, right, is to eat your vegetables first. So, this is kind of an old tip, and you guys might have heard that one, but eating vegetables first is really important because, one, vegetables take up a lot of room in your stomach. So they keep you fuller longer. So this is why it's important to actually eat your vegetables, besides the fact that you're getting vitamins and minerals from them. But when you eat your vegetables first, you're actually filling up your stomach. So vegetables contain fiber and they take longer to digest, so they fill up your stomach. So by having them first, by the time you sit down to actually eat or whatever, you're gonna be fuller faster. So this is a technique that I like to use, especially when I'm trying to lose extra body fat really fast. I like to do it before I go to an event or a party or a barbecue or whatever I'm doing, some type of thing. I always will have a big bowl of whatever before I eat, or let's just say like the food's out on the table and there's vegetables, I'll always grab the vegetables first and I'll have that. Again, if the vegetables are covered in oil and dressings and this and that, it kind of defeats the purpose because it's loaded with calories. But for example, if you can get yourself on like a plain salad with like a balsamic vinegar or something like that, pour it over, eat that big bowl first before you even look at everything else, you're gonna be a lot fuller faster doing that. So that's why I like to do that first. One of the other things that I've been doing too recently, and this is just something that I'm testing and whatever, I like to, again, you never want to go anywhere hungry, whether you're going grocery shopping or you're going out to eat or whatever. You never want to go to those places hungry because your eyes are going to be bigger than your stomach and you're going to eat everything. So one of the tips that I've been trying to test on myself and kind of telling people about and having some clients do, and it's been working well, is actually to eat a high protein meal by itself. You add the vegetables to that too before you go anywhere. So for example, I went out recently with my wife. We went out to eat, and again, I'm right now I'm in a hair position where I'm trying to lose a lot of body fat pretty quickly, okay? Because my goal is coming up soon. So what I did was, before I actually went to go out to eat, I had a huge serving of protein before I left. So I think it was like 8 ounces of chicken before I even left the house. So this way, when I got there, I was already content before I sat down. So again, it stopped me from ordering extra appetizer or extra this or extra that. And again, this is just tips and tricks that you have to learn along the way. And going back to that first tip, being consistent and doing it over time helps to add in those extra calories that you might have consumed because you were hungry. All right, so that was tip number 4. And I'll summarize all these again for you. Tip number 5, use intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting, despite what most people think, intermittent fasting is not a diet. People, I'm following intermittent fasting. That's not a diet. It's a tool in the toolbox. So what intermittent fasting actually is, it's a time, and again, the times can vary depending on the person, but it's a time where you're actually gonna not eat and eat. So you can utilize this in conjunction with some of the other things that I said in order to make dieting and losing body fat and speeding up weight loss a lot easier. So like I said earlier, getting aggressive with your calories and cutting your calories, you can do that by fasting an entire day, not eating anything. You would have, so let's say you're eating 1,500 calories a day. If you don't eat for a whole day, you've essentially banked 1,500 calories. I hope it doesn't confuse anybody. But intermittent fasting is a really good tool because if you cut your calories down, so again, going back to my example, if I'm trying to speed things up and I need to cut my calories, if I'm normally consuming 2,200 calories a day to lose body fat and I want to get aggressive, I'll drop my calories down to around, 1,900, just throwing a number out there. And what I'll do is I'll shorten my time that I have to eat that meal, those meals. So for example, instead of having, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks, maybe I'll skip breakfast and maybe I'll just skip lunch and I'll just have, 3 hours to eat those 1,800 calories. The reason why I do like that as an approach for some people is because it does prevent people from overeating and it does prevent you from being hungry. It allows you to have bigger meals. So for example, if I'm supposed to have, I think I said 1,900 calories, we'll just make it 1,800 to make it easy. If I did that and I only had that in 2 meals, that's 2 900 calorie meals. Those are 2 big meals that are gonna keep me fuller longer as opposed to spreading that 1,800 calories over 6 meals. It's gonna be nothing. So that is an approach you can use to help you stay fuller, longer, stay more content. And yes, initially when you switch to that, you're gonna be a little bit hungry in the beginning. You're used to having breakfast, you're not having any more. But once you kind of get past that stage, it's a really cool tip to help keep those calories keeping you satisfied. So definitely utilize that. Again, like I said, if you need to make more of a deficit, let's just say for argument's sake, I wanted to drop my calories down to that 1,800 calorie level to get aggressive with this. Instead of doing it on a daily basis, I could just take those, whatever that is, 400 calories times 7, it's 20, whatever. So if I just fasted for the whole day, I would have banked all those extra calories. So you can do it that way too. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So again, it's just a tool in the toolbox. It's not a diet, okay? I'm doing intermittent fasting. That doesn't mean anything. You still got to go back to the basics. How many calories are you taking? How much grams of protein are you taking? How much fiber are you having in a day? How many carbs? How much fat? So for intermittent fasting doesn't mean anything. I love when people say that. It makes me laugh. So that's intermittent fasting, and that's another tool in the toolbox, and that was number 5, 5th way to speed things up. And number 6, again, I'm not a big fan of supplements, and we talked about this ad nauseum for so long. The only thing that I really like to use is protein powder, and I consider protein powder food. But some supplements have been shown time and time again to help you burn body fat. So and I have it right here. So this one, number 6, apple cider vinegar. Okay? Apple cider vinegar is a great aid in fat loss. Okay? There have been, first of all, apple cider vinegar helps to lower blood sugar levels. Okay? And blood sugar levels are important for you to help your body burn body fat. And again, just for overall health. Some people struggle with pre-diabetes. Apple cider vinegar is one of those things that help. Apple cider vinegar helps your body to shuttle carbohydrates. Instead of having it floating around in your bloodstream, it helps to push the carbohydrates into the muscle cells, which is exactly what you want, especially when you're exercising and trying to be a bodybuilder and trying to be someone who's changing their body shape, right? So that's one of the ways. And it also helps to speed up your metabolism. But there have been studies that have shown that taking 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, one in the morning, one at night, have been shown, again, against people who haven't taken it. They've lost, again, I don't remember the exact number off my head, but I think it was like 3 to 5 pounds that the apple cider vinegar group lost. And again, this was a study done in humans, not in rats or anything else like that. So it has been shown that apple cider vinegar has been able to aid in fat loss. Again, it's one of those things, it's kind of like a hidden secret. It's one of those things that works in the background if you're doing everything right already. So, and apple cider vinegar also has been shown to bring down cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, which again has been shown to help you burn more body fat faster. Okay, so let's recap all of these. So the 6 real ways to speed up weight loss. 1, you want to try to be as consistent as possible with whatever approach you're using to lose body fat. That's going to be the key, and that's what's going to take you to the next level. 2, you want to try to get more sleep. Again, I would try to average between 6 to 8 hours a day at the minimum. Okay, sleep is very important when it comes to burning body fat. Number 3, you want to get more aggressive with your diet. Again, there's times where it's okay to put your foot on the gas and try to burn more body fat. Number 4, eat your vegetables first, or eat a meal full of protein before you eat anything else. Okay? Number 5, use intermittent fasting in order to help make the dieting a lot easier and to kind of bank extra calories. And number 6, take your 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Some people like to take the pills, but I believe the pills aren't as good as the liquid because the liquid is a little more concentrated. So those are the 6 real ways to help you speed up weight loss. Again, if you're listening to this on YouTube or the podcast, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Again, it just helps us grow and helps us put out more good content. And I want everyone listening to this to drop a comment below and let me know what you do to help you lose fat faster. Again, we're a community of people who are just trying to get in better shape and be better bodybuilders, right? And any little tip that anyone can give us can always help. So make sure you drop a comment below and let me know what you do to help yourself burn more body fat faster. All right, guys, for more information on online coaching and nutrition coaching and personal training, just head on over to abfitnesscenter.com, and I'll catch you all on the next one.